What kind of humor should you use in kids ministry? It was just a couple of weeks ago that one of our leaders were up front. It was a dad, and he was trying to be funny as he was doing the announcements and the rules for that service. And in the midst of that, he was referencing a sitcom from about 20, actually 30 years ago. He was cracking jokes about it, and I noticed a couple of the other older adults were laughing at it. They thought it was funny, but every kid in the place, crickets. They had no idea what he was talking about. You know, sometimes we have leaders up front and they're trying to be funny. They're trying to be witty. Sometimes they'll reference movies or shows that the kids have never seen. And in some cases, the kids shouldn't see those shows. What kind of humor should we be using in a kid's classroom? You know, I had to pull that leader aside. I had to talk to them one-on-one and be like, hey, you know what? It's really important that we make the kids laugh more than we make the leaders laugh. We want to make sure that we're telling jokes that the kids get, not trying to be witty and humorous for the adults in the room. We want to make sure we're using humor that's appropriate for the kids. You know, one of the things is we're trying to create a fun experience for the kids is often we put leaders up front who are comical, who are funny, they're witty. And so they're trying to be humorous in front of the kids. And sometimes the jokes that they tell or the things they do, well, they're not really appropriate. Not necessarily inappropriate, but not always age appropriate. And so I want to challenge you today that we take just a few minutes and we talk about what humor is okay in kids ministry. What should we use? What shouldn't we use? And use this as a learning template for our leaders as they're up front. And so let's start with this. Remember that the kids have not all seen the same thing. You know, it used to be with Saturday morning cartoons that there were just a couple cartoons that everybody knew about. That's not the case anymore. Yeah, there's a couple popular shows out there that most kids know about, but even then, that's not always the case. And keep in mind that some families, they watch certain things. They watch different things in other families. Don't necessarily try to be the most popular person knowing what's hip, what's exciting with the kids. You don't necessarily have to have that to make a fun experience for those kids. So kids find humor in almost everything, but they find it most in slapstick comedy, things that are exaggerated. I mean, a little bit of slime goes a long ways. Okay, making funny sounds and those kind of things, kids love that stuff. Exaggerate it, make it a big deal. Forget the witty humor. Let that be for junior high and older. Keep your dad jokes at home, okay? Make it fun with the kids. Exaggerate things. Make it goofy. Additionally, keep it clean. You know, I remember having a parent once come to me and said, can you not talk about boogers or making fart sounds? And I was like, oh, I guess I never thought about that. You see, for that mom, she was trying to teach her boys to be respectful. And so in kids' church, when I was joking about those kind of gross things, it was disrespectful to her family. And I went, you know what? I don't need to joke about that stuff. There's lots of other things that I can joke about. So I don't joke about boogers or potty things and definitely don't talk about underwear. I want to keep it respectful for those kids. Additionally, don't try to wing it. I mean, professionals, they write out a full script. They practice it. They do it over and over again. Yeah, I see people on Sunday, they get up and they just try to wing a joke and it fails almost all of the time. Okay, if you're going to do humor, if you're going to make it funny, bounce it off of others, practice it ahead of time, especially if you're doing some kind of a fun illustration or something, practice it ahead of time. And finally, remember this, the kids need to laugh more than the adults in the room need to laugh. Yeah, that's right. Have the kids have fun and laugh along with it. The adults will laugh also, but we're not cracking jokes for our adult audience. We're cracking jokes for the kids. We're having a humorous experience for those kids. And then the adults will laugh along the way as well. So as you're working with your team, remember that there's some very important things we want to do when we keep it fun and lighthearted for the kids. We need to know what kind of humor we should and shouldn't use in order to keep your kids' ministry fresh.